Hello my friends, it's Truax31 here. It's May 14th. I'm not going to look out my window today because summer's here. It's an awesome day in Saskatchewan. The long cold winter, as you know, following me, but we're here and that's awesome. So I haven't talked to you in a while. So today I want to talk a little bit about installation methods that you may or may not have heard of in radiant floor heating. We'll just cover those off and see if any of them fit your construction method. So here's the typical installation method you would see out there. First one, of course, slab on grade, insulation under, rebar or a mesh in place. Tubing is tied to that rebar and mesh, thus creating a giant radiator or your entire slab. Okay, this is the way it's been done for decades. Your basement of your house, your garage, big shop, commercial buildings, they're all done just as you would see here, and it works very well. Okay, so what about the fact that you want to put radiant through your entire house? So we go to the main floor. Here's your main floor, your subfloor, your joists, and a common installation method I have talked to you about before is hanging the tubing in the joist space with insulation again. And I see that quite often. Now, I've explained to you why this is probably not a good installation for very cold climates such as we are in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. It just requires too hot of water to get the heat through that surface. So it works in many parts of the country and certainly through most parts of the United States, but you know, the coldest places, stay away from it. But that is installation method number 2. So the third method was, as we talked about, adding the heat transfer plates. If you are going to go in the joist space, this would definitely be a preferred method. Again, we want to insulate, but this time the insulation can be pushed right up in there. We don't need convection, we have this conductive nature, right, driving it through the floor. So this allows you to get the heat out, and this method works very well through all parts of North America. I see it a lot. No problem. Now, I think the method that is preferred overall would be something of this nature, where we put the tubing on top of the floor. Okay, staple it down to your subfloor or what have you, and then we come in and pour a thin layer of self-leveling concrete, usually about 1.5 inches thick, over the entire surface, and it works very well. Okay. Now, one thing you should know in a method like this, tubing is very close to the surface of the concrete. So you got to be careful in your design. You don't want to have the tubing too far apart, because you can tell when you walk on it. And you're running fairly hot water here, right? So surface temperature is hot here, cooler here, hot again. Just like that, and it's very uneven. So what we would like to do, or what we would normally do in this application, I mean, something like that would go unnoticeable under carpet certainly, but under linoleum floors or ceramic perhaps, we want to bring that spacing in a lot tighter. It's 9 inches, in some cases 6 inches. Doesn't change the thickness of the concrete, still 1.5 inches, but what you've effectively done here is made a nice even heat flow along that floor. Rather than varying 5 or 6 degrees, it might vary only 1 or 2. So you would want to do that under, again, like I said, ceramic tiles, linoleum, that sort of thing. Okay, that's number 4. So, I've heard this a number of times. I wish I'd have put in radiant floor when I built my house. And I'm sure you do, but you know, have no fear, it's never too late. Because there is products out there that allow you to retrofit many applications. And here's an interesting one in particular. This is a product called Fast Track. Has a self-adhesive back. Peel it on. You can stick it down to your concrete slab or your subfloor. Takes a small diameter tubing. It's only a 5/16 diameter tubing. Snaps into these grids. In a case like this, we would put the tubing, excuse me, 4, maybe 6 inches on center, because this only has a 1/4 inch over pore, so you're only adding a 1/2 inch height in total to the entire assembly. So tubing is very close to the surface. So make sure you get that tubing, close together so we create a nice even heat. And that works great for concrete slabs. It works great for sticking on subfloor. Has a tremendous number of applications. So those are the 5 basic methods. Now, you get into situations where rooms such as bathrooms where you have a big vanity, you have a water closet, you can have a big soaker tub, shower, and you effectively used up a lot of the floor area. And what's left? There just isn't enough floor there to meet the heat demand of that building, or that room. And you can add supplemental heat by forms of radiators. Could be electric baseboard, it could be hydronic radiators, but consider this. I mean, here's your floor area, here's your room, in fact. So you have something sitting here, whatever, you don't have enough room to get that heat load out. Consider here, you have another surface, you have a wall, okay, you have a ceiling. Remember, it's a hot ceiling, but heat doesn't transfer up. Warm air transfers up. Radiant heat hot transfers to cold. Think about it. Earth, sun, there's no atmosphere in between, but we feel warm. That's radiant heat. So someone standing in this room, this surface is hot, or this surface is hot, that heat radiates to that person, and you feel very comfortable. So that's the lesson for today. I just wanted to show you a few methods that are out there, and if you have already built your home or your building, have no fear, there is options. So consider radiant wall, consider radiant floor, and have a great day. See ya.